Most people don't quit because they're broken. They quit because they get comfortable. They stop at tired. They stop at bored. They stop when the fire gets too quiet to warm them. But here's the truth. Success doesn't check your feelings before it delivers results. It doesn't care how motivated you were last week. It doesn't care about your excuses, your background, your bad day. It only responds to one thing: whether you show up, whether you rise when your legs tremble, whether you keep going when your mind screams stop. And right there in that resistance is where your transformation begins. Not when it feels good, not when it's easy, but when you're tempted to retreat and you choose to advance. Because most people want change without discomfort, growth without friction, victory without the battle. But greatness doesn't live in the safe zones. It lives in the unknown, where everything inside you shakes, and yet you still step forward. Right now, you're standing at a crossroads. One path leads to what you already know: comfort, repetition, safety, and slow decay. The other path, it's unclear, it's unpaved, but it leads to everything you've ever wanted to become. The version of you who did not settle. The version of you who stopped making excuses. The version of you who refused to quit. And here's what you must understand. Everyone who has ever done something meaningful stood right where you are now. They didn't have certainty. They didn't have guarantees. They had decision. They chose to walk into the fire. They chose to believe in a future they couldn't yet see. Abraham Lincoln didn't become a monument by living a straight line of success. His journey was littered with defeat. Businesses collapsed, elections lost, relationships shattered, but he made a choice to keep going. And that choice shaped history. You don't need perfection. You don't need applause. You need resolve. Because behind every admired name, every book you've read, every innovation you've used, is someone who was once anonymous, quietly pushing forward one step at a time while no one was watching. What separates them isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's commitment. They decided that no matter how tired, how unseen, how discouraged, they would not retreat. And now it's your turn. Decide that this time you don't stop at tired. You don't fold under boredom. You keep walking. Even when the path disappears beneath your feet, even when the voice in your head starts listing every reason you should quit. Because this is the part no one talks about. The real breakthrough doesn't happen when everything's going right. It happens when everything is going wrong and you move forward anyway. Success will not meet you at the starting line. It will meet you after you've walked through rejection, after you've kept going through nights that offered no reward. You grow not by skipping the struggle, but by facing it. You become strong not by avoiding pressure, but by being forged in it. Pain is not your enemy. It's your process. It tears down the weakness. It clears the clutter. It sharpens what matters. Every time you choose to keep going when it's hard, you build a version of yourself that's unrecognizable to the one who kept giving up. And let me tell you something no one else will. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are standing on the edge of your greatest breakthrough if you just decide to keep going. Because the world doesn't need more people hiding in safety. It needs people rising in fire. People who step forward when everything inside them wants to run. People who dare to believe their story matters. And your story does matter. But it begins with one question. Why are you doing this? Because if your why is weak, your willpower will break. But if your why is clear, nothing can stop you. Purpose is stronger than pain. Purpose doesn't flinch when life punches you in the gut. Purpose stands tall when motivation dies. So define it. Don't chase vague dreams. Don't live someone else's life. Don't set goals that sound good on paper but mean nothing to your soul. Ask yourself, what is the fire that wakes me up? What am I here to build? Who am I becoming? And when you find the answer, write it, speak it, own it. Let it become your anchor when the storm hits. Let it become your torch when the path gets dark. Because purpose is not a one-time event. It is a daily decision, and if you don't define it, the world will define it for you. And you'll wake up one day living a life you didn't choose, carrying burdens you didn't ask for, wondering why you feel so empty. Don't let that happen. Draw the line. Today, choose to build a life on purpose, on clarity, on something deeper than approval or applause. Because when your life is aligned with your purpose, your steps become unstoppable. And that's where we continue next, with real goals, real structure, and the path forward. Now that your purpose is clear, you need structure. Dreams are powerful, but without direction, they fade. You can have all the vision in the world, but without goals, that vision will sit idle, buried under distractions, drowned out by urgency, forgotten in the noise of everyday life. A dream without a plan is just a wish, but a dream with a backbone becomes inevitable. You need goals that are not just ambitious but real, tangible, timed, written down, because when you put your goals on paper, they stop being fantasies and start becoming commitments. They stop floating and start moving. Set milestones, not to impress others, but to track your own evolution. Because progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's hidden in the quiet victories. Waking up earlier, finishing what you started, saying no to what distracts, saying yes to what aligns. Each small win is a declaration. I'm not who I was, I'm becoming. You don't need to leap a mountain today. You need to take one step, and then another, and another. The power is in the momentum. The energy builds not by waiting for motivation, but by moving. Action fuels belief. When you do what you said you'd do, even when it's hard, you begin to trust yourself. You start to believe, not in the dream, but in your ability to achieve it. And that belief over time becomes unstoppable. This is why vague intentions don't work, because they crumble when pressure hits. But specific goals, they ground you. They pull you back when your emotions drift. Write them clearly, see them daily, and most importantly, connect them to your purpose. Don't set goals because you saw it on social media. Set goals because they mean something to your future, to your legacy. Because when your goals align with your mission, they stop being a chore and start becoming a compass. And when life gets heavy, and it will, your goals will be the rails that keep you moving forward. Even when it rains, even when no one claps, even when your own mind whispers that you're not enough. You keep going, because you're not running on hype anymore. You're running on conviction. And you'll notice something. As you take steps, people will start talking, not always to encourage, sometimes to doubt, to criticize, to remind you of how far you have to go. You must learn to stand anyway, to move anyway, to stay committed not just in silence but in storms. Because if you crave applause, you will die in rejection. Let go of needing to be understood. Let go of needing to be approved. Even the greats were doubted. Galileo was called mad. Einstein was called foolish. Their vision was bigger than the minds around them could accept. And the same may happen to you. People will project their fears onto your potential. They will say, that's not realistic. They will say, be careful. But what they really mean is, I'm afraid. I didn't chase mine, and I don't want to see you chase yours. And you must love them, but leave their doubt behind. Because if you let it inside your mind, it will rot your courage. Learn the difference between wisdom and worry, between feedback and fear. Some voices want to sharpen you. Others want to silence you. Only one deserves your ear. And here's the mark of the unshakable. They keep walking, even when they are laughed at. They keep building, even when they are alone. They keep showing up, because their commitment is not based on comfort. It's based on who they know they are becoming. Let their doubt be your fire. Let their silence be your signal to speak louder with action, because in time, the results will speak. The results will echo. The results will silence every critic that ever whispered you can't. You don't need revenge. You need results. So build them, brick by brick, day by day, not for them, but because this is your life, and you've decided it's going to mean something. Even if no one gets it, even if no one supports you, even if no one believes in you yet, believe in yourself loud enough to make up for all of it. Because belief, real belief, is what separates those who try from those who transform. And transformation is not born in comfort. It is born in courage, in choosing the path no one sees yet, but that you know is yours. And as you walk that road, it will twist, it will turn, it will throw you curveballs and chaos. That's why the next lesson is everything. Not just to keep going, but to keep evolving, to keep adapting, to never let the storm freeze your movement. And that's where we keep moving forward. You see, life doesn't move in straight lines. It swerves, it shifts, it breaks the plans you swore would work forever. And when it does, the ones who survive are not the strongest. They're the most adaptable. Rigidity is a silent killer. You can be brave, you can be brilliant, but if you refuse to adjust, the world will pass you by. So you must bend, you must pivot, you must evolve, because what worked yesterday may be useless tomorrow. And if you're too attached to the method, you'll miss the mission. Your principles can be your anchor, but your strategy, that must be your sail. It must shift with the winds. It must respond to the tides. Eisenhower didn't lead through ego. He led through flexibility. He understood that leadership wasn't about always being right. It was about always being ready. And that's how you lead your own life. Not with blind force, but with wise movement. Not with panic, but with presence. When plans fail, don't fall apart. When a door closes, don't bang on it for years. Build a new one. You are not defined by your detours. You are refined by them. Most people quit not because the goal was impossible, but because the path wasn't what they expected. They mistook flexibility for failure. They believed they had to choose between being committed and being fluid. But you must be both. Be unshakable in your vision, but be liquid in your tactics. Stay locked on your outcome, but take detours with grace. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And when you understand this, when you really get it, you become dangerous. Because nothing can stop a person who moves with purpose and adapts with power. And the more you adapt, the more you will face doubt, not just from others, but from within. That's why the next step is sacred. You must build belief that doesn't crumble. Because belief, real belief, is not given to you. It's not inherited. It's built day by day, choice by choice, breath by breath. Self-belief is not arrogance. It's alignment. It's knowing who you are becoming so deeply that no failure can talk you out of it. Muhammad Ali didn't say, "I hope to be the greatest." He said, "I am the greatest," long before the world believed, long before the titles. Because greatness doesn't begin in headline, it begins in the mirror. And that's where you must go, not to see who you are today, but to speak into who you're becoming. Your mind is listening. So speak wisely, speak power, speak strength, speak forward. Say, "I am capable, I am worthy, I am becoming more every day." Not to lie to yourself, but to tell yourself the truth before the world catches up. Your mind does not respond to facts. It responds to repetition. So give it the fuel it needs to rise. And don't just speak it, prove it. Remember what you've survived. The nights you didn't think you'd make it through. The tears no one saw. The weight you carried while still showing up. Those were not small things. Those were proof that you are already powerful, and now you're just aligning your actions with that truth. Stand like you believe it. Speak like you believe it. Move like you believe it. Because when you do, the world doesn't just watch. It starts to shift. Doors open, connections appear, but not because they were waiting, because you were ready. And when you believe, you stop begging for validation. You stop asking for permission. You start claiming space. You start living bold. But belief must be guarded, because the world will try to shake it. Storms will come. Setbacks will slap you awake. And if you haven't trained your mind to stand firm, you'll collapse. This is why we build resilience, not just for hard days, but for who we must become in the process. Resilience is your quiet superpower. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's the reason some people rise while others stay broken. Because life will test you. It won't ask for your schedule. It won't wait until you're ready. It will knock you down without warning. And in that moment, all the books you've read and all the quotes you've saved won't matter. Only one thing will. Will you rise? That's what resilience asks. Not how hard was it, but did you get back up? And you must. You must rise again and again until rising becomes your nature. Until pain no longer surprises you. Until challenge no longer threatens you. Because the goal is not to avoid the fire. It's to walk through it without losing who you are. Let each fall sharpen you. Let each rejection refine you. This is not punishment. This is preparation. Life is not trying to destroy you. It's shaping you. And you are being forged into something stronger than anything comfort could ever create. So keep walking. Not just with belief, but with resilience in your bones. Because the world doesn't reward the perfect. It rewards the persistent. Your mind is the command center. It is the architect of your future, the battlefield of every breakthrough, the gatekeeper of every dream. If you don't master it, it will master you. This isn't poetry, it's physics. Because every thought you allow to linger becomes a belief, and every belief you repeat becomes your reality. So ask yourself, who built the thoughts you're thinking? Was it you, or the fear passed down through generations? The voices of teachers who didn't believe in you? The culture that told you you're not enough unless you look, act, and live a certain way? If you want a new future, you must first evict the old voices. Uproot the lies that have lived rent-free in your mind for years. Thoughts like, I always mess things up. Good things never happen for me. I'm just not that kind of person. None of those are facts, they are patterns. And what's learned can be unlearned. This is your garden now, your field. You choose what grows. So plant power, plant courage, plant gratitude and tenacity and vision. And when the weeds come, and they will pull them quickly, don't entertain them. Don't water them. Don't let a single thought that disrespects your potential stay. Guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. And feeding it isn't a one-time ritual. It's a daily discipline. Surround yourself with voices that mirror your future, not your fears. Books that stretch your thinking. People who remind you of who you're becoming. Stories that show you it's possible. Your mind will begin to reflect the company it keeps. So choose your input with the same precision you'd choose a parachute, because it will either lift you or let you fall. And speak life every single day. Seep it out loud. Even if your voice shakes, even if your faith is the size of a mustard seed, say, I am not who I used to be. I am not defined by my past. I am growing, rising, becoming. And then act accordingly, because affirmations mean nothing if your actions betray them. That's how you turn thoughts into transformation. You catch the lie, you replace it. You speak the new truth. You act on it, and you do it again. Repetition becomes reality. This is how empires are built, not just externally, but internally. Because every great entrepreneur, every legend, every innovator. They didn't just build products, they built inner fortresses, so that when storms came, they didn't collapse. They recalibrated. And now it's your turn. You've defined your purpose. You've set your goals. You've learned to adapt. You've chosen belief. You've built resilience. You've begun mastering the mind. Now there is one thing left, one step that transforms all of this from idea into identity. You must act now, because ideas without action are dust, wasted energy, forgotten possibility. The world does not move for the thinker. It moves for the doer, the ones who act in silence, the ones who show up before the confidence comes, the ones who stumble forward instead of standing still. Don't wait for certainty. It doesn't exist. Don't wait for the perfect time. It will never come. Action is your breakthrough, not clarity, not inspiration, movement. Take one small step. Call that person. Write that page. Record that video. Send that email. Walk into that gym. Because the longer you wait, the louder your fear becomes. But the moment you act, momentum begins. And momentum is magic. It silences hesitation. It fuels belief. It multiplies discipline. You don't need to feel brave to move. You need to move to feel brave. Let go of needing to have it all figured out. You don't climb a mountain by studying the top. You climb it by putting one foot in front of the other. And with every step, something changes. Not just around you, but inside you. Confidence grows. Clarity sharpens. Conviction strengthens. Because movement builds identity. You are no longer the person who just dreamed. You're the one who did, who acted, who risked, who dared. And once you take the first step, take another, and another, until movement is no longer an event, but your way of life. Because greatness isn't in the leap. It's in the stride. It's in doing what you said you'd do when no one's watching. It's in showing up when it's not exciting anymore. It's in finishing what you started, day after day, step after step, until your life begins to reflect your effort. You're not waiting anymore. You're built, and no one builds legacy by standing still. So move, not tomorrow, now, because this moment, this one right here, is the one that will echo into every chapter that follows. This is not just a step. This is a line in the sand, a moment where you stop letting life happen to you and start shaping it with your own hands. You've carried the weight of old stories long enough. You've waited for the right time, the right mood, But now, there is no more waiting. Now there is only doing, only becoming, only building the future that will not exist unless you create it. And yes, it will be hard. You will want to give up. Your mind will scream for comfort, for escape, for ease. But remember, ease is the enemy of elevation. Nothing remarkable is born in the soft hours of life. It is born in the friction, the fire, the decision to rise even when everything inside you says lie down. You will lose people. You will outgrow places. You will walk alone. But that's what growth demands. The courage to evolve without apology. Let them misunderstand you. Let them call you obsessed, unrealistic, intense. Because the truth is, most people will never understand a person who refuses to settle. But you're not here to be understood. You're here to be unstoppable, to break cycles, to rewrite legacies, to carry your bloodline forward into a new standard. You are the shift. You are the turning point. You're the one your future self will thank, not for being perfect, but for refusing to quit. So don't quit when it's slow. Don't quit when it's silent. Don't quit when the results aren't here yet. Success doesn't always show up with fireworks. Sometimes it shows up quietly on the 100th try, on the morning you almost didn't get out of bed, in the moment you chose faith over fear. Again, this isn't about being superhuman. It's about being faithful to your purpose, to your progress, to the calling that keeps tugging at your soul no matter how many times you try to ignore it. And you know exactly what I mean. That quiet voice that refuses to die, that ache for something more, that picture in your mind of a life that feels fully lived. That is not fantasy. That is vision. That is destiny whispering. It's still possible, but only if you move. Only if you decide. Only if you stop waiting for motivation and become the spark yourself. You've always had what it takes. But now you believe it, and belief is the gate. Action is the key. Discipline is the path. And the life you've imagined is waiting on the other side. So rise and keep rising. When it's dark, rise. When it's lonely, rise. When it's heavy, rise. When no one claps, rise. When it feels like you're crawling, rise anyway. Because every time you rise, you rewrite what's possible. And one day the world will call you resilient, relentless, unstoppable. But long before that, you must call yourself ready. Ready to act. Ready to evolve. Ready to live a life that reflects who you truly are. So don't shrink. Expand. Don't hesitate. Leap. Don't postpone your greatness. Step into it, because this is not the beginning of the end. This is the end of delay. This is the beginning of your becoming. You already know what to do. Now do it with all the fire you've got left. Do it because you're tired of wondering. Do it because you're done starting over. Do it because deep down, you know you were made for more, and now you're becoming it. And here's something no one tells you enough. Your life doesn't change the moment you hear the truth. It changes the moment you live it. You can listen to 1,000 speeches, read 100 books, and watch every video ever made about growth, success, and transformation. But if you don't act on what you've learned, it all dies with you. Knowledge is potential power, but only action is activated power. And the beautiful, terrifying thing about life is this: no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you. No one is coming to do it for you. This is your mountain. This is your mirror. This is your moment. And you can either step toward everything you've ever wanted, or stay chained to the version of you that never truly lived. And that version, that watered-down, muted version of you, it dies today. You've stayed small long enough. You've explained your dreams to people who couldn't understand them. You've made yourself digestible for the comfort of others. You've bent, twisted, and waited. But this is the turning point, the place where your old self meets your new standard. And only one can survive. So let the old patterns fall. Let the excuses dissolve. Let the silence you've been sitting in erupt into a roar. You were not made to blend in. You were made to break molds. You were not built to follow. You were born to lead, to spark, to stand, to rise. You may not know exactly how it ends, but that's not your job. Your job is to show up, to give everything you've got while you're here. Because one day, whether it's years from now or decades later, you'll look back at this very moment, and you'll ask yourself, did I rise? Did I push? Did I dare? Did I give it everything, or did I let fear keep the pen and write a story that wasn't mine? Don't let that be your regret. Regret is not a moment. It's a lifetime echo, a haunting whisper of what could have been. But purpose is loud. Purpose is brave. Purpose is the fire that tells the world, I was here and I did not waste it. So when that alarm goes off tomorrow morning, get up. Not because it's easy, because it's yours. When the world doubts you again, keep building. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. When the fear comes creeping back, smile. You've danced with fear before and you're still standing. You are not fragile. You are not lost. You are not invisible. You are the storm they didn't see coming. You are the light they couldn't put out. You are the seed that refused to die in darkness. And now is the time to bloom, loud, unapologetically, wildly. Because this journey you're on, it's not about perfection. It's not about applause. It's about alignment. It's about power. It's about truth. The truth that the same fire that built empires, wrote revolutions, and changed history, it lives in you. And today you chose to light it, to feed it, to protect it from the winds of doubt. Now carry it forward. Carry it through the hard days, through the empty rooms, through the quiet battles, because eventually that fire becomes a blaze so undeniable. The world can no longer look away. So go, build the vision, be the legacy, live the life that once scared you. And when the world asks how you did it, don't say luck. Don't say timing. Look them in the eyes and say, I decided, and I never stopped. There's something sacred about a human being who decides, who stops waiting for signs, for certainty, for permission, who stands at the intersection of fear and faith and chooses to move anyway, because that moment, that raw, trembling, soul-deep choice, it is what separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. You don't need a roadmap when you have resolve. You don't need applause when you have alignment. The world will try to convince you that greatness is reserved for a chosen few, for those with better connections, with better luck, with better timing. But here's the truth. It's not about what you were given. It's about what you decided to build. You're not here because you had it easy. You're here because something inside you refused to settle. The dreams that keep tugging at you, they're not random. They are reminders, echoes of the future, calling you forward. But only you can answer. You can ignore them, silence them, bury them beneath the weight of real life. But they will never stop whispering, because they belong to you. You were not made to drift. You were made to drive. You were not made to shrink. You were made to stretch beyond what even you thought was possible. And maybe you've failed before. Maybe you've lost things you can never get back. Maybe you've walked through darkness so thick you forgot what light even felt like. Good, because pain is not the end of your story. It's the furnace that forges your depth, your capacity, your fire. You are not broken. You are built. You are not behind. You are being refined. And every setback was setting the stage. All of it. The heartbreak, the delay, the rejection. It wasn't just suffering. It was sculpting. Because pressure only cracks what isn't solid. And if you're still here, you're solid. Stronger than the things that tried to take you out. You don't need more time. You don't need more approval. You don't need another year of overthinking. You need courage, and not the kind that roars, the kind that whispers, I'll try again tomorrow, when today almost breaks you. The kind that keeps walking into rooms that make you nervous. The kind that keeps building when no one is watching. The kind that stays silent when people laugh at your dreams, because you already see the outcome. That kind of courage doesn't make headlines, but it makes history. And you are not here to repeat the past. You are here to rewrite the story. No more playing small to make others comfortable. No more shrinking to fit a life that no longer fits you. From this day forward, you are done apologizing for being hungry, for being intense, for wanting more clarity, more peace, more impact. Because more isn't greed, it's your calling trying to grow. And the ones who call you too much, they're just not ready for the fire you carry. But that's not your concern. Your concern is this moment, this breath, this choice. Will you show up or shut down? Will you speak up or stay small? Will you become the storm or keep hiding from the rain? The world doesn't need your perfect version. It needs your real one. The one who sweats, who struggles, who gets back up without cameras or credit. Because that's who becomes unstoppable. And if no one has told you lately, you are enough to begin. Not someday. Today, you have enough. You've lived enough. You've lost enough. You've seen enough. And now it's time to become enough. Not because someone finally recognized you, but because you finally recognized yourself. So when doubt returns, and it will, you meet it with decision. When fear rises, and it will, you meet it with movement. And when failure knocks again, and it will, you meet it with faith. Because the real ones, they're not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall and still choose forward. Again and again. Quietly, deliberately, unshakably. And one day, you'll wake up, and the life that once lived only in your imagination will be the life you are breathing. Because you didn't flinch. You didn't fold. You didn't wait. You acted. You adapted. You believed. And you became. And that is how greatness is written. Not in golden chapters, but in gritty ones. The ones no one sees. The ones where you could have given up and didn't. Let that be your story. Let that be your legacy. Let that be your proof that you were never just dreaming. You were building, and now the world will see it.